But here in R Studio, what you can do is you can simply use the is.na. Okay, so here if you see, okay, you can simply use this particular, which means that, okay, in this particular option, okay, if I put my cursor to this particular option, you will see that why we are using this particular line of code. So basically, if in my data frame, if few values which are not available, also missing values we can say, so to find out those, we can simply this particular line of code, right? So that's why here you can see, if you wanted to go ahead with the next, so you can see that the next thing, okay, see next thing, again the same. If you go ahead with this, you can see, right? If you go ahead with this, you will get the, is there any missing values which is, like, which is there in the date time classes, which means this particular column. If you see, this is my column date time, right? So for now, we can simply go ahead with is.na, and I can simply put my company's data, okay, and let's go and run this. Okay, this is my company's data set. Now here you can see the option. Okay, now after this, let's go and run this. Okay, now basically if you see over here, okay, so like you will find that the false and true values are there. Okay, we got the values which are nothing but the logical, or you can simply say that we got the logical data frame now. Okay, why we are checking that, okay, like, is there any null value present in my data set? So not the count, not the sum, for that. So for that, so you will see that the false, 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 which means that false means yes, there are no value for this, there is no missing value, this value is something which is there, okay, which is physically present in the data set. But if you talk about this true value, which means that yes, there is missing values. So you can see that in the 15th row, okay, like in the third column, you will see that the true value is there. So you can recheck over here, okay, like in the, in the 15th row, you will see that in the third row, you will see that the na value is there. So that's why I got the, the true value over here. Okay, that is the thing over here. Now let us go over here. See, I just created the code over here, but not here, because I'll have to share this particular code with you now. So that's why I'm just copying this particular code, so you can, after you can use this particular code to hands on, right? Now, okay, we got this particular data set, but from this, if let's say if our data is quite big, so we can't handle this particular data, we can't just manually go and check false, false, true, false, true, false, true, we can't check that, right? So for that, we can simply go ahead over here and we can find out the, you know the sum for this, like for our each column we can simply say. So for that, we can simply use the s, how many missing values are there in each columns. That's why I'll be going with the s apply method, which is nothing but the s apply. And I can simply use my company name, okay, see my company data set, if you see, and here I'll be applying one function on it, okay, which is nothing but the, for that I'll have to create the function, okay, of, you can simply say of x, like, and then I'll be using the sum dot, okay, is dot na, and in the bracket simply apply it on each and every column in my this particular data set, right? So let us go and run this, and here you go. Like if you see, okay, I apply the s apply function, okay, or the supply, you can see, okay, on my company's data set, okay, and I created the one function which is a very small function, okay, and in that function what I'm doing, I'm just finding out the sum of how many null values which are present in my each column, okay, which is there in my data set. Now in the account number, okay, we don't have any null value. In the account name, we also don't have any null value. In the status, you will find that the four missing values. In the gross income, you will find that the zero null value or the missing value. In the num vjs, you will find that the one missing values. Then for complete and for date, we don't have any missing value, right? Now after this, okay, like if we have the missing values, okay, so what we can simply do is, okay, like we can simply, there are multiple ways to handle the missing values, okay. And what are those ways? Like, let's say if you have the missing values, so like if your data, like if your data is going to be it's not, see basically here, if you see, this is the function of x, okay, this is the function of x I'm applying on my data set, which is company's data set. So basically what I'm checking, the sum, okay, of my all the, like the missing values in my each column, and we are just finding out the sum for this particular data set. That's why I applied this function of x on my this particular data set, okay. So it is not applying on this total data set, it is applying on each and every column inside the data set, right? Okay. Now after this, okay, like there are multiple ways to handle the missing values, right? So whether you can simply ignore that missing value, so for that we can simply drop this particular missing value, right? Yes, x is nothing but the each and every column, so that's why you will see that the each and every column name and how many missing values are there in terms of sum, right? How many missing values are there? So if you see that the missing values, okay, like the only two columns, you will find that the missing value is present, right? Okay. Now if we, like if we are dealing with the missing values, so there are the, different ways to handle that particular missing values. One simple way to handle that particular missing value is to drop that particular missing values, okay. But if you see, my data set is very small over here, okay, only 22 data points are there, okay, right? So what I can do is, okay, I can simply go with my another way. Like I can find out the, the either the mean, okay, if my data set, okay, is the, you know the numeric, we can simply find out the mean, okay, and we are just try to find out the yes, okay. S apply is nothing but just apply it on my, you know the data set which is there, right? So that's why I use the S apply, okay. So like we can, replace those missing values by a mean, median, mode, depending upon our type of data set, whether our data set is numeric or whether our data set is, you know the categorical. So if the data set is categorical, we can simply put the, or the replace those missing values by using the mode, okay. So let me, okay, let me show you the different, the statistical terms that we saw in the previously, okay, we saw previously as well, but few terms which are totally new, like mode, right? So as we know, mean is nothing but the average value. Let's say we have the data, let's say, okay, any data, let's say from 1 to, let's say, 100, okay. If you wanted to find out the mean, we can simply go ahead and we can use the sum of x divided by n. So whatever the sum it is, okay, from 1 plus 2 plus, you will find that the 100, okay, divided by the 100 length of the all the data, you will find that the 100 data points are there. So that is nothing but the mean. If we're talking about the median, what is median? Like I am saying 50%, so which means that this is exactly my middle value, right? Middle value or middle number, you can simply say, right? So here my median is going to be 50, a center number, right? If we're talking about the mode, now what is mode? Highest frequency, right? A repeated occurrence, maximum number of time. If that particular value, okay, like occurred repeatedly, so we can say that that is nothing but the mode, okay. That is not the highest value. We can say the, you know maximum occurrence is there, or, frequently occurred value, right? So that is nothing but my mode. Let's say in my this particular data set, like this is a 1 to 100 data set, So basically this data set is basically dealing with this. So if you're talking about the mode, so let's say if you have the data like this, 1 2 3 4, then we have 1 4 2 1 1 4 like this. So here you will find that, okay, the highest number of time one value is repeated in my data set, if you see, right? So that is nothing but my mode, right? That is nothing but my mode. Okay, maximum number of time any particular value repeated. Okay, so maximum repeated value in my data set. And why I am using the mode over here, because if you see this term 1 2 3, which means that I'll be using these for categorical data, not for numeric data, because for numeric we have the mean or median, right? Now why mean and why median, when to choose mean and when to go ahead with the median? So for that, here if you see that, let's say if we have the data like this 1 2 3 4 5 and we have the data 100. Okay, so for this particular scenario, okay, like whether to go with the mean or median. So in that scenario, we'll have to check, are there any outlier present in my data set or not, right? So if let's say this 100 is the outlier in my data set, because if you see the common range or the normal range of my data set is going to be 1 to 5, and this value is very much bigger. So that is nothing but the outlier present. So at that time you can use the median, because if you go ahead with the mean, so you will find that the value of mean is going to be the 100 plus, right, then 1 plus 2 up to so on, okay, plus 5. So tell me the value of mean for this, okay, divided by 6. Okay, okay, so here if you see 115 divided by 6, okay, so total I can say that around 19 point something, if I'm not wrong, I guess 19 point something, right? So if we see that, okay, the normal range for this particular data is going to be the 1 to 5, 1 to 5, right? So if we have the outlier, so you will find that median is not affected, because you will see that median is this three value is there. If we go at the normal range for this particular data, again if we add this particular value, again also you will find that median is not affected, median is just 3.5. So you will see that it just very much less affected, right? You see, as compared to these, so if you talk about this 3.5 and 19, so which one is the, the best one? 3.5 is best one for this particular data. If we're talking about, let's say we have the data 1 2, okay, like this 3 4 5, then in that case if there are no missing, there are no outlier present in my data set, you can simply go ahead with this and find out the mean and add those mean values, okay, instead of missing values, which mean the NA value you can simply see, okay, right? So this is just the calculation. If you see, okay, like if you see that the 5, okay, 5, like if you calculate this, if you find out the sum for this, so the sum for this is going to be the, the 6 plus 9 is going to be the 15. So 100 plus 15 is going to be the 115, not the 108. Okay, these dot dots are nothing but add the 3 and 4 values too, because I am just finding out the sum for all this value 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 100. Okay, now, okay, that is the thing. Okay, now the second thing, as I told you, you can simply and go and drop those values, right? You can simply go and drop those values, right? So for dropping, okay, because this is just the pre-processing, I'm showing you how you can clean the data. So I'm trying to cover all the methods which are there, right? All the methods which are there. So here, okay, I'll show you how you can go ahead and find out the mean for that, right? How you can go ahead and find out the mean for that. So let's say, let's go and find out the mean for that, because if you see, this is nothing but the the status. So status is going to be the the categorical one. Okay, so you can find out the, okay, we can simply find out the mean for this particular column, right? So to find out the mean, we can simply use this mean, because there is only one missing value present, right? So mean of our the company data set, right? Dollar my this part, this particular column, right? And here, as we know, there is one missing value present, right? There is one missing value. So if I added this particular missing value, okay, okay let's say if I have the the value like this 1 2, then we have the missing values, and okay 4 5. So if I include this particular missing value, because this value is not present, but my columns, how many length of the column is nothing but the 5, right? Sorry, length of the row is going to be the 5, which means 5 values are there. Yes, there is one missing value, but total values are 5, right? So while we are finding out the mean, so it will just add this particular value, which means 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus divided by 5. So which means that our mean is affected by this one addition 4 plus 5. So for this one added value, okay, that is you know that is basically affected my mean, my final value, right? But if you remove this particular thing, so my mean is not affected by this, because you will see that the 1 plus 4 plus 5. So according to the definition, you will find that there are four values, and length of these four values, which is nothing but the 4, and you can simply find out the mean for this now, right? So for this in R, we can simply use the you know the NA dot remove, which means RM. Okay, just use this, and that is nothing but the true, right? Enter this and simply find out the mean for this. So mean for this is going to be the this particular value, which is nothing but the 21,608.52. Okay, that's how you can find out the mean for this. Now, as I mentioned, the second thing, like if there is a data, like if there are like there is a missing value present in your data, so how you can do this, how you can drop the data, how you can handle that particular missing value in your data set. So what you can do is you can simply go ahead and you can use the omit method, right? The na dot omit, which means that just omit those all the missing values which are present in your data set. Okay, so how you can omit those data set? You can simply go over here. Okay, you can simply go over here. You can simply use my na values, which means then the missing values, and use the omit. Okay, so here you can see that the omit function is there, which is already there. Just after writing few letters for this particular function, you okay will get the function, just enter it, and you will see that the you just like R Studio automatically completed your code. And now here you can use your data set name. So simply let's say if I go with this particular term, okay, if I go with this particular term, which means that I'm removing each and every missing value in my data set. Okay, so for that, let me show you. Okay, and I'll go ahead with the next term as well. Okay, so here I just omitted all the data set. If you see, right, uh, the missing values, those are present in my data set, right? So here if you see, let me just go and check the how many missing values now which are present. Like for that I'll have to name this particular data. So let's say this is my data. Okay, and let's go and run this. Okay, and now I can simply apply this particular code on this particular data set. Now the data set is nothing but the data instead of company's data. Okay, now here if you see, I can simply go ahead and run this. Now you can see that the I just simply removed all the missing values. Okay, just simply removed all the missing values in simple words, right? So basically, okay, this is how, this is the one way you can just simply go and drop the your missing values. So let us go, we need our data, the original data. So this is my original data. Okay, because if you see now, we just created the two different data set, company data and my data only. Okay, that is a data. In the data you will find that there are no missing value present. Okay, now if you see, okay, now after that, after this particular line of code, okay, now there is no missing value in my data. If we use the data, if we use the company data, we have the missing values over in this particular data set, because total how many observations are there? 22 observations are there, right? Now there is another method you can do. You can simply go ahead with again the same na.omit, and you can use your company data, right? This is my company data, and whichever columns missing value you want to remove or omit, you can simply select that particular column name. Okay, you can select that particular column. Okay, let's say I just wanted to go ahead and remove this particular thing. So what I can do is I can simply use this. Okay, and here if you see, okay, now I just omitted the one particular value from it. Okay, no, in my status, okay, I guess there are four missing values. So for that, what I can do is I can simply just check, right, sum is dot na, and in that I can simply add the you know the column name. Okay, dollar my status. Okay, that we used. Now here you can see that we have the four missing values, I guess. Okay, now here if you see, we'll have to again, okay, we'll have to check, we'll have to add the data one name for this particular data, and then we can simply check this. Okay, now for that, let me go and run this, and here you can now see, instead of this, okay, instead of this, we can simply use the data. Okay, so we can simply use the data. Now basically, I guess data is having only one, so no issue with this dollar, because if you see in the data, okay, right, not the data, it's data one, right? So if you see is in the data, we don't have any column, because you will see that data is the only single column we have, okay, in my data set, okay, in my data one. So let's go and run, and now here you can see that now there are no missing values, zero value is there. Okay, which means that we just omitted all the missing values which are present in that particular data, right? So that's how you can go ahead with, right? Then if you wanted to find out the median, right, so median, how we can find out the median over here? So we can simply use this, okay, median, and my any particular data set, let's say I just wanted to find out the median of uh, this particular this numerical column. Okay, now which, now let's go and here if you see that, okay, median for this is na. Right, that's cool. Like if we see, let's go and use this, no, not this, I guess. Gross income, and let me go and run this. Yes, you will find that the median over here. Okay, because you will find that there are no missing values which are present in that data set, right? So for that, okay, you can simply find out the median for this. Okay, because there are no missing value present in the data set. First you will have to remove the missing value, then you can simply use this median. Okay, and you can go ahead with your further process, right? These are the few different things you can do with your data. Okay, that I'm showing you, which is nothing but a data cleaning steps. Okay, there are number of, you know, methods. Okay, depending upon your data, okay, you can go ahead and clean your data. This is totally depends on your data. You will have to go and manually check the, like the, what are the different things your data have or not. Okay, like outliers you can check, you can check the missing value, you can go ahead with the, the different ranges of your data. Okay, whether your data is a categorical feature or numerical feature depends on as well, you can go ahead with, right? Okay, now after this guys, next thing is to find out the duplicates. Okay, next thing is to find out the duplicate. So here, yes, and that we want, cleaning the data is basically affected the main file, and that we want because we are cleaning the data. Okay, so which means that basically we are removing the errors from the data set. Okay, and that is our main purpose. Okay, for our data science project, let's say, to like our data science project is to build the dashboards. Okay, find out the, insights from that particular data, right? So at that time, okay, the cleaning the data is the, you know the big thing we can say. What is the difference between company's data set and data? So basically there is just the, if you see, I use this particular company's data to read my original data set, right? And if you see the data, so there are no missing value present in your data. If you wanted to go ahead with the same name, like if you wanted to go ahead with the same name, I can simply put the same name too. Okay, this is just for your reference. Okay, just to understand, this is just for your reference. I can apply the changes on my original data set as well as my company data set. Na? Just put the name, the company data set, and let's run this. Now here you will see that, okay, initially now there are 22 observations are there. Now let me go and run this particular cell. Okay, now you can see that only 18 observations are there, right? Only 18 observations are there. So basically my goal over here is to show you how you can make the changes in your company data set, because we are using the company data set and we are applying the different kind of methods on my company data sets, right? So that's why, okay, I just create the one new data set with the name data only, right? So basically, if you see, the only difference between the company data set and data is nothing but, in the company data set, that data set is your raw data set, which is not the clean data set. And you're in the company, you will find that at least there are no missing values, right? At least there are no missing values in your data. So that is just the difference. Okay. You can even go ahead and you can update the your original data as well. Okay, but here my intention to show you the how you can apply the different things on your data, right? Now how you can find out the duplicate data set. Okay, how you can find out the duplicate data set. So for that, for finding out the duplicate data sets, any idea for this? So if you wanted to find out, you know the duplicate, so you can simply see that, just put any, and you will see that the many different functions automatically pop up. So we'll be using any duplicated for this. Okay, and we'll be adding just the name of my data set, company's data set. Okay, so let's go and run this. You will find that there are only two values which are duplicated values, right? There are only two values which are duplicated values, right? Now you can go ahead with the different things as well. Okay, you can go ahead with the different things as well. You can use the, you can simply use the, duplicated as well. Okay, and you can use the company data set. Let's go and run this, and here you can see it. We got the output in terms of true false logical output we got, right? We got the output in the logical manner, right? Or okay, like if you just if you just wanna remove the duplicates from your data set, and you wanna the data set, and in that data set only unique values are there. So how you can do this? You can simply, okay, go ahead with your either your original data name, or like I did before, I can simply use any other data name. Let's say my df data frame, I can simply go with this df. Okay, so why I am creating this? This is just the name of the data set. Okay, nothing else. Okay, so I want my new data set, okay, which is having only unique values, okay, of my previous data set. So what I can do is I can simply use this, and I can use the unique method is there, right? So just by using unique method, I'll be adding my company's data set over here. See, and just use the control plus enter to run, and now here you can see this is my data frame. If you see, so basically I remove the duplicates from my data as well. Okay, I remove the duplicates from my data as well. Now you will see that basically there are two duplicated values, right? So we just remove this. Now the value is going to be the 16 because there are two duplicate values. Okay, so from overall 18 observations, if we remove the two duplicates, so basically we'll get the data of 16 observations, right? So that is the thing.